Mac McClung is your favorite player in the country right now, today.
Oh, he might be, man. So yeah, we'll get into the recap in a second, but we got to talk about this Mac McClung show because that was so much fun. For people that didn't see it, in the final minute 20 of the game, first and foremost, Texas Tech was down by like 15 in the second half at Texas, came back and won. With a minute 20 left, Mac McClung tried to throw himself a pass off of the backboard and dunk it over Jericho Sims. Got thrown to the ground, but drew a foul.
And if you haven't seen Mac McClung, YouTube Mac McClung, you might get some high school highlights, and you can see Mac McClung trying to throw the ball off the backboard to himself for a dunk. He's done that before in high school.
Yeah, he's like this 6'1" kid from Southwest Virginia who has ridiculous hops. But anyway, then he came back. Just like me. Then he came back on the next possession, comes down in one of the worst offensive possessions I've ever seen in my life, where he just dribbles the ball for about 10 seconds. Nobody else moves, and then he jacks up a contested long two with his toe on the line and hits it, puts Texas Tech up, completes the comeback. Then in the post-game interview, Fran Fraschilla is trying to ask him a question live on ESPN, and he's like, Fran, I respect you, man, but I got to get out of here. I got to go celebrate with my teammates.
You're the man.
Tosses off the headset and runs away.
You're the man, Fran, but I got to go celebrate with my teammates, so I'm out of here. And,
oh, man.
It's so funny because, like, Mac McClung off the court is, like, so endearing. Like, he's such a good kid. You could see it. On the court, he, like, drives me fucking crazy. And he's been better. Listen, the last few weeks, he has definitely been better. And I talked to Beard about it the other day. And he said, like, we're working with him. He's gotten better in his turnovers and his decision-making. You can see it. It's definitely, as I tweeted a month ago, and Georgetown fans went crazy on me. I said, like, Texas Tech, Mac McClung, way better than Georgetown Mac McClung because Beard is coaching him up. And what Beard doesn't want to do is take away what makes Mac McClung special, which is the ability to make a shot like that. So he needs a guy like that.
I mean, we said this in the preseason, Jeff. Like, both of us made this point. Like, this was the perfect marriage because the things that Mac McClung does well are the exact things that Texas Tech was missing. The things that Mac McClung does terribly are the exact things that Chris Beard demands of everybody in his program and everybody on his roster to be able to get on the court. So as long as, like, Mac buys in, and, like, if you're transferring to Texas Tech to play for Chris Beard, I'm just assuming that you're probably going to buy in. So as long as that happens, he's going to lift up Texas Tech. The program, Chris Beard, is going to lift him up. Like, to me, that was the perfect marriage.
Yeah, no doubt.
And one last thing on that, can I just say that, like, moments like that are what makes college basketball such an awesome sport to me. Like, where else do you get this guy that is a YouTube sensation that transferred out of a program from Southwest Virginia to Lubbock, Texas, is now coming out here, trying to throw the ball off the backboard to himself, hitting game winners, and then just completely blowing off one of the best ESPN commentators that there are to go and celebrate with this. Like, it's just moments like that are what makes college basketball so ridiculous and so much fun and so endearing. I loved every moment of that last night. It was awesome.
By the way, just so you know, I do have a heart out today in about 20 minutes because I've got a appointment, a Zoom call with Air District Court for a ticket that I got about a year ago. Let me see. Well, what's the date of this? I don't know. It was pushed back. $255 ticket for texting while driving. I'm going to fight this thing. I'm going to win this thing, Rob. I never text while I drive, ever.
I got a speeding ticket this summer, and we were driving up to upstate New York to one of the chasms up there. I can't remember what it's called, but I was going 91 into 65, and the guy pulled me over. He goes, "You know what I pulled you over for?" I was like, "I got a pretty good guess."
Did he give you a break or no? No break.
Yeah, like, so he was like, "We're going to give you a ticket, but I'm going to give you 75 for 65 because I don't want to come back to court."
Is that what he said?
Yeah. So he's like, "So please just, like," because he saw that my plates were from Jersey. So he's like, "So please just, like, send this in by mail. I'm giving you a break. You're saving a bunch of money. You're not going to get points on your license, but just don't make me come back to court."
Rob, I'm just hoping he doesn't show up, but it's like you're on Zoom now. Like, he's probably
he's going to show up now. What else is he doing today, man?
how do they remember? That's my take on all this. Like I got lost. I remember it pretty well. I got lost and I was looking at my phone. I veered off the highway and I was looking at my phone because I was looking at the GPS, and my GPS in my car sucks. So like he may get me for that, and they may with keep it, but whatever. Hopefully, maybe he won't show up. Maybe he'll be out and about or something.
All right, so let's talk about tonight's slate. The big game, the one that I think I have the best feel on, is Indiana Purdue. And just so people know, like when we say we have a good feel on something, I think we're like 4-0 on games.
Well, last night, if you were listening yesterday to us, you saw how giddy we were about Sharief Cooper and Tigers. And it was like the combination, right? Like it was the perfect storm. I've made it clear on this over and over and over how much I think Georgia stinks. Mm-hmm. And then they get Auburn, and Sharief Cooper is back, and he's terrific. He is. I mean, obviously there is some warts there in terms of taking care of the ball and all that, but I'll take all those. And he doesn't really guard, but who cares? He could score, he could pass. He makes them a lot more exciting. He makes them a team that, honestly, if they had him from day one, Rob, they're probably an NCAA tournament team.
They're going to be an NCAA tournament team regardless, because when you add a player like that, like it has to be taken into account. It has to. And honestly, like they're probably going to win enough games. Like maybe I'm just overreacting to his performances, but my guess is they're probably going to win enough games where they'll be able to put themselves at the very least in the bubble conversation. They have no bad losses. If they go like 13-5 the rest of the way, something like that.
I just think that's hard to imagine, even though the SEC, as I've said, isn't very good. I don't know if they're going to be able to reel off that. The other part is, if you're the NCAA, are you taking it into account because the kid was suspended? Like, you suspended him. You basically said, all right, well, that's the key. That ultimately, this isn't an injury. This is, a suspension that was never put out there.
Was it a suspension, or was it he was being held out and not being given eligibility? Because there's a very big difference between the NCAA not making a decision on his eligibility and the NCAA saying he's suspended. If he was suspended for impermissible benefit, or like whatever the NCAA decides they want to suspend someone for, that's a very different conversation than the NCAA saying, hey, we just haven't gotten to your case yet, so you can't play. You know what I mean?
They haven't gotten to it. It was that the father wasn't cooperating. That was a big thing. They weren't giving him everything. So I think more than anything, it's still – It doesn't go in the same bucket as Sharief Cooper had a partially torn whatever and came back. Like, I don't know how they're going to look at it, but it'll be interesting.
I don't know how they're going to do anything in the COVID era. Before we get into that, I do just want to ask you, like, where do you stand on Sharief as a pro? Where do you stand on him moving forward? Because I think he's different from other guards that we've seen in the past that have, and I know it's like small sample sizes, but he's averaging 27 points and 10.5 assists, right? So other guys that we've seen put up similar numbers, like Ja Morant and Trae Young, the difference between Sharief and those guys is that they had two elite skills. Trae Young, elite passer, elite shooter. Yeah. Ja Morant, elite passer, one of the best athletes that you're going to be able to find, like
and a good enough shooter.
Yes. Sharief Cooper is an elite passer. What is that other elite skill that will make up for the fact that he is as small as he is? So
I guess the other elite skill that I would say, Rob, is that he's able to get to he's quick. He's not an unbelievable athlete. He's not an unbelievable shooter, which is why he's not going to go number 2 like Ja Morant or number 5 like Trae Young. Like, maybe he can go in the second round. I think at the end of the day, maybe he's a late first rounder. I don't know.
I think he's probably more than that, just because you can see the production. Like, you just can't overlook 27 and 10, right? And that's assuming that this continues. There's no guarantee that continues. But his change of pace stuff is so impressive. Like, he can go from a kind of like slow walk up the court to, oh my God, he's by you in like one step, which is not.
I don't think who he is
easy to do.
Like, who is he like? I got to think about that. I'm going to think about that.
It's tough, man. And without having that elite shooting ability to force defenses in the NBA to come out and play you, I don't know if that's going to work. Like, he's very, very intriguing as a player simply because of the production. look, this is kind of stating the obvious. We got to see more. We got to see more against elite level competition. It's very hard to judge somebody against a Georgia team that doesn't want to guard at all, and an Alabama team that had no way to prepare for him because they didn't even know that he was going to play until day of. So I want to see more, but like he's really intriguing, man. Like guys that can pass like that, guys that can create like that that's an elite skill.
By the way,
a lot of people can do that.
By the way, I'm just reading the chat here a little bit. And San Fran 30, was Texas really deserving of the top 4 ranking before this game? Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, their only loss was to Villanova. In case you missed it, they went into Lawrence and beat Kansas by about 100. And then they went to Morgantown and beat West Virginia. And those are 2 top 15-ish teams, however you want to cut it. So, yeah, they were definitely deserving of a top 4 ranking before this game. And to be honest, they had this game for 38 minutes. So
they probably should have won this game.
Right.
They kind of gave it. They gave this game away the same way that West Virginia. Well, I mean, the way that you got to think about it is like this.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
But the way that you got to think about it is this: they gave this game away the same way that West Virginia gave the game away to Texas on Saturday. Like it happens in college basketball. You can't really just look strictly at results. It's just you got to kind of see the big picture of how good a team is. And Texas is really good. They got lucky on Saturday. They gave a game away on Tuesday. Like that's college basketball for you. Elliot Dunham wants us to talk a little bit about LSU, so we got to give them their props, man. We got to give them their props.
I guess. I mean, here's my deal with that one. Like, I like Arkansas. Okay, I do. And by the way, Texas now has 2 losses, and their only loss before that was to a Villanova team that, is really, really good. So,
and we may never see again.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're practicing. Jay Wright had told me earlier in the week they might be coming back today to practice. So that's a good thing, I guess. Here's my deal with LSU beating Arkansas. I think Arkansas is good, but God, they have played the worst. Like, they have beaten nobody. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Arkansas is just not very good. And LSU has not been great either. Like, Watford was good yesterday. I just don't know if I buy into this LSU team. And post Skylar Mays, like, I feel like he just kept that team together through all the adversity. Started with Tremont Waters. He kind of kept them together as a point guard. But I feel like Skylar Mays was just the glue for that team and that program with everything they were going through. And now you just got a bunch of guys that I'm not sure how invested they are. I think, again, Watford's a really talented player. Javonte Smart, talented, but he's not really a point guard. I don't trust them. And the win against Arkansas was a nice win. But again, right now, it's not a resume win by any means.
Yeah, if they decide that they want to guard and they're going to go out there and we're going to see this team be like a top 50 team defensively, then yes, we can start talking about them as like very, very real and a real threat to get to the Final Four. But as it stands, right now they're just a lot of fun to watch offensively, and you never know when the team is going to end up coming back.
Yeah, McClung Thomas he's great to watch. He's so entertaining.
They're kind of like Iowa Light is what they are. They can put up. They'll score 100 on any given night. They might also give up 95.
I always got that guy in the middle that you can just throw it to and let him go to work.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're right. They're not quite as good. They're kind of like what Iowa was last year. Maybe that's just the better way to phrase it.
Here's the thing. Iowa can't really guard. LSU doesn't want to guard.